Jesus had many friends. One family that he was very close to is Mary and Martha and Lazarus. They were a brother and two sisters. And they lived, I think, near Jerusalem. So that a lot of times when Jesus was in the area, he would come and stay with them, or he would definitely come and eat with them. And then they also traveled with him as he would go around the countryside teaching and preaching. A lot of times we in the stories they make an appearance that they're there, that they're part of what's going on. So they were all very, very good friends. Well, the story today was that that Jesus and his disciples, they were a couple days away from where Lazarus lived, and Lazarus got sick, and he got worse, and he got worse. And finally, Mary and Martha sent someone to get Jesus, and they came to him and they said, Jesus, Lazarus is sick, and Mary and Martha want you to come right now to heal him. And Jesus said, we'll go in a couple of days. Okay. Well, a couple of days later, Jesus told his disciples that Lazarus was sleeping and that he had to go and wake him up. And the disciples thought, well, if he's asleep and he's been sick, then maybe he's getting better, right? And Jesus said, no, you don't understand. Lazarus has died. But this is going to be for the glory of God. And he said, come, let's go back. Let's go to where Lazarus is. And so they headed back to that area. And the Bible says that as Jesus was walking towards their house, Martha, the more practical one, came out to meet him and said, Jesus, why didn't you come when we called you? If you had been here, he would not have died. But I know that whatever you ask of God will happen. And Jesus said, have faith, believe. He'll be risen from the dead. And she said, I know that in later on we will renew our lives and we will have life in the ever after. And he said, believe. And he told her, ask where Mary was, and she went to get Mary. And so when she found Mary, she said, Mary, Jesus wants you to come and he wants to see you. So they went back out to where Jesus was. And all the people that were at their house followed, thinking that she was going to the tomb where her brother was buried. And she saw Jesus, and she said, Jesus, why didn't you come? If you had been here, he wouldn't have died. And Jesus, the Bible says, cried. He wept. Now, there's a lot of people who have a lot of different reasons why they think he wept. He was upset with the people for not believing, or many other things. I think maybe it was just that he was so sad because these people that he loved so dearly were brokenhearted because of the loss that they had. And so Jesus said, Mary, where did you lay him? Where is he? And so they went to the tomb. Now, back in Bible days, they didn't do graves like we do now. They would go into caves, and they would put the body in the cave, and then they would roll a big stone in front of it, and that's where it would stay. And it had been 4 days since Lazarus had died. But they went to where the tomb was. And when they got there, Jesus said, roll the stone away. And Martha, being practical, said, but Jesus, he's been in the grave for 4 days. It's going to smell. And Jesus said, roll the stone away. And so they did. And Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth. And the Bible says that out of that tomb came Lazarus, wrapped in the grave clothes of how they would wrap them when they would bury them back then. His friend came alive. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? I bet he has some stories to tell. But he came back to life, showing that Jesus has power over life. He can raise people from the dead. Isn't that amazing? The stories of the Bible give us hope and tell us of his love and how much he cared for us and what he was willing to do to help us. He loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus very much. And this was something that he was trying to show people, his power. And he allowed things to happen so that he could raise Lazarus from the dead. Now, we don't really think about people coming back from the dead now, but we are promised that when someone we love dies, they go to heaven to live with Jesus. And one day we'll all be together again. And that's always a wonderful thing. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.